Hi, my name is Francois and I am a super teacher. Fidget spinners. It's hard to believe that these toys made their way into just about every single classroom. And from what I gathered, teachers hate them. So I saw a lot of hype about this craze on social media, and I saw that many teachers are commenting about this thing. So I thought I'd go onto Facebook and ask my teacher friends as well as my non-teacher friends to comment about what they think about fidget spinners. So in this episode, I am going to report back on what I found in the comment section of Facebook. What do my teacher friends and my non-teacher friends say about the fidget spinner? At this stage of the video, let's do the question of the week. Remember, you need to answer the question of the week if you'd like to claim your CPTD points. So the question of the week, how do you deal with fidget spinners in your classroom? Tell us in the comment section down below. But before we jump into this episode, I'd like to share some exciting news with you. I have started an online store where you can buy merchandise from this YouTube channel. On that store, you will find t-shirts like this one, but not only t-shirts, you'll find hoodies, fitted men's and women's t-shirts, and even sweatshirts. You can find the online store on our website. Just go to www.superteachersolutions.com/shop and you'll be able to buy one of these garments. With all that being said, let's educate. What? It seems like there's a new craze that hits the classroom every single year, and it just makes the teacher's life a little bit more difficult, as if we need that. So I ventured onto Facebook and I asked my teacher friends and also my non-teacher friends to tell me what their opinions are about fidget spinners and how teachers could deal with it in the classroom. So I'm reporting back on what I found in the comment sections on Facebook. So the one thing that is evident from the comments on Facebook is that there is a lot of hate for fidget spinners in the classroom. And I get it. I do understand that it can become a big distraction for children and that it makes the life of the teacher just so much more difficult because you need to try and get the attention and fight for the attention. Many teachers reckon that this is just a toy and it should be treated as a toy. It shouldn't be in the classroom. If children want to use it on the playground, that's one thing, but there isn't space for fidget spinners in the classroom. So a lot of the advice that teachers gave on Facebook is that we should just wait it out. It's just one of those crazes, it's a fad, and it will exit the classroom very soon as the children find a new hobby or a new craze to follow. So maybe we should just wait it out. One of the issues that teachers highlight link back to children being distracted, in the sense that children that normally don't present issues in the classroom now suddenly do. Another thing that was very interesting for me is that teachers are likening the problem with fidget spinners to that of having cell phones and tablets in the classroom. Children tend to be distracted by what is happening on the cell phone or on the tablet or playing with the fidget spinner, and that they don't pay attention to what the teacher is saying or doing as part of the lesson. One of the teachers even mentioned that they confiscate phones or tablets or books from other teachers or even the fidget spinners, and then the children need to buy it back for 10 Rand, which is quite interesting, and I don't fully agree with that. But who am I to comment on what you do in your classroom? One of the arguments for letting children have fidget spinners is that it helps the child to relax. And I really laughed at this one teacher that said, okay, so fidget spinners help children relax, but so does dagga. Where are we going to draw the line? Good point. What was interesting to note though, is that the majority of negative comments came from teachers, and there were a lot. But most of my non-teacher Facebook friends are actually advocating for the use of fidget spinners. Some of them say that in their workplace, they are actually finding it useful to have fidget spinners. One of them actually made a very interesting observation. She said that prior to having a fidget spinner, she would sit in a meeting and she would typically doodle. And she would get so entranced with the doodling that she doesn't pay attention with what's happening in the meeting. But since having the fidget spinner, she quietly sits with it under the desk and just rolls it between her fingers. But this actually helps her to concentrate and remain focused on what is being said in the meeting. But some teachers noted that the fidget spinner is actually assisting with some of the children in the classroom that can quite easily become distracted. So they are seeing the benefits for a few individual children. But the advice that these teachers give is that we should probably wait out the craze, as it has some benefits for those individual learners. What was encouraging to see, though, were those few super teachers that tried to show everybody how they use the fidget spinner as part of their lessons and to teach certain aspects. Now that makes me very excited. One of the grade R teachers mentioned that she uses it to teach fine motor skills. In grade R, the children are typically 5 or 6 years old with smaller hands. So she would place it in their hands and let them run over it with their fingers just to try and teach them a few of the fine motor skills. And I thought that was excellent. Other teachers use it as a discipline tool, that they would reward children by giving them a fidget spinner to take home if their behavior was suitable. Now that of course wouldn't work in every single classroom or every single school, but I thought that was quite ingenious. One of the teachers even said that she can't wait for exam time. She's going to walk around with a fidget spinner during invigilation, just to pass the time. So a lot of hate for fidget spinners, but also some love. But one thing that I really enjoyed about the discussion is this focus that it placed on ADD and ADHD. I think somebody somewhere is making buckets full of money. And big ups to them for having a great marketing campaign as marketing the fidget spinner for people with ADD or ADHD. And boy, were there some great discussions on whether fidget spinners are scientifically proven to have benefits for people suffering from ADD or ADHD. Now, I've seen a bunch of arguments for and a bunch of arguments against this. But one of the noteworthy points that were made during these arguments is that people do not understand the rigor that goes into scientifically proving whether something like this has a benefit for a medical condition. Before anybody can make a claim as bold as this, that the fidget spinner actually has a benefit for ADD or ADHD sufferers, the product has to go through some extensive testing, and this takes a lot of time. So in my personal opinion, I think it is a load of hogwash that this is proven to assist people suffering from ADHD. But there could be benefits for certain individuals, and maybe we need to wait a few months until we have the scientific proof that this has benefits. But until then, nope. But the one thing that I find disturbing is the amount of children who are claiming that they have ADHD and they need to have the fidget spinner. This is a craze. It is very popular to have a fidget spinner. But to make out that you've got ADHD or ADD just to get one or to cover as an excuse to have one in the classroom is just unethical and it's wrong. It's almost as if ADD or ADHD has become part of our common discourse, that it's almost fashionable to talk about it without really thinking about the repercussions it has for people who have been clinically diagnosed with having ADD or ADHD. I know that I've got some attention problems, but I'm not going to diagnose myself suddenly and say that I've got ADD or ADHD. I fidget a lot. Whether it is in meetings or whether we sit in a restaurant, my hands always need to stay busy. I even teach with something in my hands. It just makes me feel comfortable and it's something that assists me when I teach. But I do not have ADD or ADHD and I definitely don't need to use it as an excuse. There were even a few occupational therapists that added to the discussion on Facebook and said that if this really is the case, you can use a lot of better things than a fidget spinner to get children to calm down or just to focus. Some teachers even use press stick to let the child sit and play with the press stick in their hands. And I think this is very clever. But one thing that definitely came out of the discussion is that people are now talking about ADD and ADHD. And I think it's healthy that everybody is discussing this. So thank you very much to everybody who participated in this discussion on Facebook. Just to summarize, what did I take out of this discussion? And the first thing was, it's just a craze like the flip bottle challenge from last year, or maybe even Pokemon Go. Or if you were a teacher for a few years, you would remember things like Tamagotchis and yo-yos, or even the Rubik's Cube. The important thing here is that just like all the other crazes, it will disappear in time. But this is actually not the problem. Every single year there's going to be a new craze. How are we going to deal with it? What I think we should do is to try and incorporate these crazes into our lessons more. I've made a video about this before, and I'll just link it up here so you can click on the card. But we should try and go where the attention is. Teachers normally fight to get the attention away from whatever it is that the child is doing, whether it's the cell phone or a fidget spinner. We try and get the attention back to us. How about we design our lessons to go where the attention is? Bring the fidget spinner into your lessons. There are a bunch of these examples on Facebook and on Pinterest and even on YouTube. So if you follow me on social media, I'll start sharing a bunch of these. But you'll also find these on the Facebook groups for teachers. So make sure that you join these communities and help us to start a discussion on how we can get these into the classroom and as part of our lessons. But at the end of the day, it is your classroom and it is your rules. But let's please try and have more fun in the classroom. And I really think fidget spinners are a bunch of fun. So that brings us to the end of another episode on Super Teachers Unite. I'd like to thank my teacher friend Natasha Weiss for supplying me with a fidget spinner. I couldn't find one on time before we shot this video. So Nats, thank you very much. And if you, like Natasha, enjoy the things we do on this channel, make sure that you give this video a thumbs up and that you subscribe to this YouTube channel so that we can get all Super Teachers united under one banner so that we can make a positive difference in each and every classroom. Remember that subscribing to this YouTube channel is absolutely free, and if you'd like to subscribe, you can just click on the logo that will appear right here. If you'd like to see more episodes on this YouTube channel, you can click a link right there or even on the one right below it. Until next time, my name is Francois and I am a super teacher.